Around the world across Nigeria, it's Enterprise Morning here on Enterprise Television. Now our main conversation.
The Federal High Court in Ado-Ekiti has granted bail to activist and lawyer Dele Farotimi following his arraignment on cybercrime charges linked to allegations of defaming senior lawyer Afe Babalola SAN.
And the court sets bail at 50 million naira with stringent conditions, including a surety with property in Ekiti State and the submission of Farotimi's passport. Until these conditions are met, Farotimi remains in custody.
The charges stem from Babalola's petition alleging defamation in Farotimi's book, Nigeria and its criminal justice system. Initially arraigned at a chief magistrate court on 16 count of defamation, Farotimi denied the charges and was remanded in custody.
And shortly after, the police filed a fresh 12-count cybercrime charge at the Federal High Court, focusing on his online interviews reiterating claims from the book. Farotimi pleaded not guilty to these charges as well.
His legal team expressed confidence in meeting the bail conditions and noted that the Federal High Court's trial may override the magistrate court's defamation case.
And the case is adjourned until January 29, 2025. It remains unclear whether the police will continue pursuing both cases or consolidate them.
Very well said. Now let's have our conversation. Still with us is Emeka Madunago. Thank you so very much, Emeka.
Thank you so much
for hanging on.
My pleasure. Hello, you.
Yes, beautiful. All right, so let's start. But before we get into the rudiments of the story itself, Emeka, isn't it surprising to you that Dele Farotimi was handcuffed, clearly handcuffed, for defamation? At the same time, we see a governor who was not even alleged, who has been, made known to have been a part of, corruption, clearly, according to the EFCC, was being led with heroism. Don't you think both issues should be a thing of concern if really we're interested in handling corruption and dealing with it decisively?
Yeah, thank you very much. Well, both of them, the person, the governor, former governor you mentioned is Alhaji Yahaya Bello of Kogi State. Both of them, Alhaji Yahaya Bello and Dele Farotimi, are innocent until found guilty. So, if the EFCC chose not to handcuff Alhaji Yahaya Bello, it is because there was no need for it. That the Nigerian Correctional Service chose to handcuff Dele Farotimi doesn't make it right. In handcuffing somebody, it's only if the person is a threat, or there is a possibility that the person may try to escape, or the court has ordered that the person should be handcuffed. Other than that, it's just overzealousness, bordering on embarrassing incompetence, because Dele Farotimi has told you, he has said it, that his book took 11 years, to come into being. Even a day before his arrest, Dele Farotimi detailed everything. He said he knew what was going to happen and he was ready to face trial. So why are you putting him in handcuffs? Just maybe some high authorities, we know how Nigeria operates. Powers that be, just said, okay, handcuff him for their own ego, to massage their sadistic egos. Other than that, it is even offensive because even today is the International Human Rights Day. It's even offensive. So if there is no, why wouldn't Alhaji Yahaya Bello move freely? He's a free Nigerian. He has only been accused. He has not been convicted. The trial has not even begun. So he appealed, he applied for bail, Of course, the matter will be heard today. There's also the other matter on the 13th, and definitely the first time Alhaji Yahaya Bello appeared before, he was at the EFCC with the sitting governor of Kogi State, Alhaji Usman Ododo. He was there. They waited for some hours for EFCC. EFCC later came and said, go home, we'll come and see you. So why should he be treated should he be treated, unlawfully? This second one again, he gave up himself. He gave up himself and said, look at me, of course. And then EFCC took him into custody, took him to court, and the court said he should be remanded in EFCC custody until such and such a date. I think, those trying to make all this, addition are just people with a sadistic mindset. And it's sad. You know, when you see such people, you wonder at their state of mind, at their mental state. You wonder what kind of, sadism, level of sadism motivates such a thing. To gloat, that, okay, so you would even want Alhaji Ayabelo to be put in handcuffs and maybe leg chains. You're even trying to make issue out of the wrongful handcuffing of Dele Farotimi. You see, let people be mindful. Like my people say, when a corpse is being carried, it looks like a log of wood. Let us deal with the issue, which is we must adhere to the rule of law at all times. The other day, people were castigating Davido for saying that investors should not come, that Nigeria is messed up. But people see all these things. They see photographs like this on the internet. Then they will ask a question. Why was this man handcuffed? What is the case? Defamation. Not terrorism, no. Not armed robbery, no. Not any other, very serious offense, no. Defamation. Yes, defamation is serious, but is it to the extent that you can, for instance, say, okay, a view murder? No. Alhaji Ayabelo has been charged with, alleged corruption. Why should you now treat him as if you have adjudged him guilty? Which is one thing we do a lot in this country, and it's very bad. Media triumph. Because EFCC has said so, then it is fait accompli. It is true. Somebody was even arguing with me the other time that a journalist that the president said so and so and so. Can the president be wrong? And I said, a journalist says such a thing? Can the president? Who is the president? He's just a servant. He's just an officer.
Thank you, Mika. I'm talking about adhering to the rule of law. If we look at the way Farotimi's case has been handled, from how they moved from Ekiti State to Lagos to pick him up, and how at this point he's been granted bail, but he must meet the bail condition, which is of 50 million naira within the jurisdiction of Ekiti and Co. Can we say the rule of law is taking its toll here? And can we say the leaders, both those that are the judge and those that have been standing both for Afe Balola, are adhering to the rule of law in this particular case?
You see, yes, Chief Afe Balola, SAN, has every right to sue, but in this case, he has written a petition to the police, So in other words, it's the police that's leading the charge against Dele Farotimi, Now, I believe, with the way it is, the impression is that the police are overreaching themselves. You took him to the magistrate court, and it is said that Ekiti State does not have a law on criminal defamation. You took him before a chief magistrate court. His counsel applied for bail. The chief magistrate, in his wisdom, said it should be, a written application should be brought, through it. Then, you quickly rush to go and file another 12-count charge before the Federal High Court in Ekiti on cyber, bullying. Now, let me tell you something. We must be very mindful about how we treat freedom of expression. You see, I've had to caution some of my colleagues. I said, the charge the police filed at the Federal High Court Ekiti, actually arose from Dele Farotimi's interview. And don't forget, the police mentioned the platform. Now, it can affect any of us. It can affect you. You just innocently grant an interview. Maybe the person didn't abuse anybody, didn't insult anybody, just spoke. But let me tell you, somebody can just wake up somewhere and just do a petition to the police. That interview, that it left me distressed, though. That even somebody who may not even have any business with it, just to demonstrate power. There are people who get power drunk, sadists, and what do you find? They can pick you, just to embarrass you, just to express sadistic pleasure. At the end of the day, by the time they get to court, the court says they don't have any local standard. By the way, what is even your business with this matter? But you have been wrongfully detained. Yes, you go to court to enforce your fundamental human rights. But how about the injury? How about the inconvenience? How about the dehumanization of your person? So, we must be very careful. Yes, the police have gone ahead, but I think it is laudable that, certain individuals have intervened before this matter gets out of hand. Because now it's, it's looking like the whole thing might just assume another thing. Certain things have appeared on the internet. People taking sides, saying that, certain people who even have no business with it, they do some interlopers, pretending, that they are fighting for Chief Afebalola. But Chief Afebalola has not told them that he's not capable of, seeking redress, legal redress. But in matters like this in Nigeria, people will always want to make political capital out of it. At the prompting of, unseen masqueraders, people, beating drums, somewhere. Not because they hope that Chief Afebalola gets justice, but just because they want to make political capital out of it. Even the visit of Mr. Peter Obi, the presidential candidate of Labour Party in 2023 election, people are trying to politicize it. Now, some people have turned it that he went to beg. And I wonder, beg, as in that Dele Farotimi was caught with, stole a tuber of yam from Chief Afebalola or what? Or did he went to beg? How? Because, if you look at last week, some people, of a certain political position, somebody wrote something. Now try to link the Labour Party, link his presidential candidate, link so many things.
The obedient movement into the whole thing.
And I said that some people don't know that they may need some kind of psychiatric evaluation. Chief Afebalola SN came out clearly to say, look at the source of my, what I don't like. It was from a book. Look at what the book said. Look. He stated it clearly. Then, he never stated anything about Labour Party. He didn't mention Peter Obi. He didn't mention the obedient movement. But some people, out of mischief and the kind of, retrogressive political culture we have in Nigeria, they just started linking all kinds of people, linking all kinds of things. Because why? I asked them, if you happily encourage people to lynch others, their blood will be on your head. Do you think you will escape? A day will come when you have regained your senses, you will realize that such conduct should not be found around decent people. Chief Afebalola is a legal icon in Nigeria. And so, he doesn't need anybody to fight for him. Well, he knows in his wisdom why he chose to, pursue the angle of criminal libel and, criminal defamation and all of that. But, you see, putting Dele Farotimi in handcuffs was not necessary. You're just over-dramatizing, trying to take away, detract from the substance of the matter. And that's the problem. One problem we have in Nigeria.
Yes, Emeka.
When something comes up, people with various intentions will now jump on it, and before you know what's happening, the real matter will be lost in the noise.
Yes, and speaking of the real matter, get missing in the whole noise. Let's equally talk about this. There's often no smoke without fire. You talked about those who have capitalized on political, reasons, to either choose sides. But
some are even saying that Chief Afebalola is an obedient. That former President Obasanjo whom he represented as a lawyer, is also an obedient. I don't understand all this.
Yes, but speaking of how Dele Farotimi was handled, which of course lots of Nigerians weren't very comfortable with. Afe Babalala, let's hold brief for him that he didn't give the consent for Dele Farotimi. So if Dele was treated the way he was treated without the consent of Baba, don't you think those who called the shot might be interested from the upper echelon?
Yeah, that's why I said that looks like some people were just pandering to some unknown interest. Because why? Dele Farotimi was moved from Lagos to Ado-Ekiti. Did he try to jump out of the vehicle during the way? Did he try to kill himself during the way? Did he try to attack any of the officials? No. He was moved from his office to Ado-Ekiti. He was taken to court. From the images I saw, there was nothing of maybe suggesting violent conduct. There has been no report from the prison that maybe he fought with other inmates. So what was this for? Nigeria, typical Nigeria attitude.
But do you see the hand of the APC? Do you see the hand of the APC?
What will they stand to gain? Will it make the price of Gary come down? Will it affect the price of bread or the price of fish? What's their business in it? This is a personal matter. So there's somebody saying, I'm looking for my bag of rice. And I suspect it's so and so person now because I saw a bag of rice that resembles my own. You can report. It's the duty of the police to investigate. And they may get there, yes, that person, there's a bag of rice there, but you cannot prove there's your bag of rice. Or, okay, we have reason, to proceed to court. But again, you also have to, is the court, and that's why I also want to bring in again the issue of Alhaji Yahaya Bello. Look, you can charge somebody to court with any offense. But you know what? It's the court that will determine whether that person is guilty or not guilty of that offense. We need to put that into our brains in Nigeria. It's the court. It's not you. That you took a case. You take your case and you rest. You don't go, put a case and then you start going around the media trying to, like what the EFCC enjoys doing. You are prosecuting somebody in the court. You're also prosecuting the person in the media. What is all that? That's media trial. Allow the wheels of justice to roll.
Okay, now talking about the wheels of justice. Now, ruling on their application, I want to read out something. The trial judge, Mr. Kwewumi, disagreed with the prosecutor, Samson Osubu, who argued against Mr. Farotimi's bail application. Now, there is already a contention between the judge and the prosecutor. Now, the wheel of justice, how do we see it rolling? If at the end of the day, Farotimi meets up with the bail conditions and is bailed, then come 2025, how do we say, okay, this is how it's going to turn out?
No, it's a normal thing now. The law says that defamation is a bailable offense. And when an offense is bailable, why do you keep the person there? Why do you oppose bail? You saw the Chief Magistrate Court, the prosecutor said that Farotimi is a threat to national security. And people were asking.
Now, these are some of the things that I'm looking at that is making me ask, with the will of justice.
No, today now, maybe, like your prologue said, that maybe the Federal High Court, the police may discontinue the case at the Chief Magistrate Court. Maybe I haven't realized that, maybe it was not necessary. But when you say it's a threat to national security, so was that the reason why he was handcuffed? In what way? Threat to national security? How? In what way? So I was waiting, for him to prove it in court now, because there is a legal maxim that says he who alleges must prove. He who asserts must prove. So it's up to him to prove. But now, the prosecutor opposing bail. Yeah, well, what do you expect? These are things that happen in the course of, court proceedings. Prosecutor opposing bail, even when there is no basis for it. But of course, the judge disagreed with him because the judge looks at the facts of the matter. And the law, the provisions of the law. The judge is not interested in your emotions or your sentiments, or That is why in journalism, one of the things we were taught as rookie journalists was that you cannot in your report describe how the judge's face looked. Oh, the judge was visibly angry. You cannot write that. You cannot say, oh, the judge looked tired, or the judge was... No. That is unethical. Because the judge is, looking at... Justice is supposed to be impartial. And the whole world is following this case.
Exactly.
So definitely the judge has said that the matter is bailable and has used his discretion, with due respect, to grant him bail.
Now, talking about, just before we leave in less than 60 seconds, talking about the whole world watching what's happening currently in Nigeria against Dele Farotimi and Afe Babalola SAN. In Pestel analysis, when it comes to foreign direct investment, the last alphabet there, the L, signifies legal. Right? And when foreign direct investors wants to come into a country, one of the things they look at is how independent is their judiciary. Now, with what is happening in Nigeria, how do you think this will snowball when it comes to foreign direct investors hoping to want to come to Nigeria, knowing that the independence of the judiciary is not what it's expected?
Well, thankfully, the Chief Justice of Nigeria, my Lord, Justice Kudirat Kekereko, has actually sounded a note of warning to the judiciary that there's a negative perception about us out there, and we should do our best to correct it. Yes, a senior member of the legal profession, Chief Adigboyega Womolo, SAN, said no, that the judiciary should not be characterized in negative terms. But be that as it may, all is not well with the judicial sector in Nigeria. If you go online, and even early this morning, I was following a thread on X, formerly Twitter, people listing what they have suffered at the hands of judges. It will make you weep. It will make you weep. To the extent that even, do you know how many times judges have been investigated, dismissed, recommended for trial? To the extent that under the former administration of President Muhammadu Buhari, judges' quarters were raided. Allegations of judges taking bribe and all of these things. And it's also a part of this case, of this matter concerning Dele Farotimi and Chief Afe Babalola SAN. It is beyond the case. It is a wake-up call to all of us as Nigerians. The judiciary, in fact, the entire judicial sector, the bar and the bench, as well as the public, are veritable national institutions. They are pillars of democracy that must be seen to be to be working together, hand in hand, to preserve democracy, to groom democracy, to nurture democracy. And therefore, there must not be any underhand delay, people overreaching themselves or institutions overreaching themselves. You take a matter to court, let the court decide. Let there not be, some kinds of interference here and there. The only thing, like some people were trying to make it out that Mr. Peter Obi went to beg. I said in law, the provision for alternative dispute resolution. ADR. One of it is arbitration. You did this to me. No, you are the one that did this to me. You can be brought to, you sit at the round table, and discuss. The court also has provision for out-of-court settlement. So you might get to a point where, okay, Chief Afe Babalola might say, okay, let's suspend this case or let's continue it. Let's go for out-of-court settlement. There's a number of things that can come up. But the thing is this, justice must be done and be seen to be done to, Like the late Justice Chukwudi Foputa. He said it's a three-way, justice is a three-way traffic. The state, the plaintiff, and the accused. And I don't remember who said this thing, that it's better to allow 10 guilty persons to go free and to punish one innocent man. So what it means is this: our nation is in need of redemption.
Thank you so much, Emeka. Thank you.
All right, we can go on and on and on this particular issue, but of course it's a developing story. We'll always keep you up to date as it unfolds, most definitely. Thank you so very much, Emeka, for being part of our show today. We truly do appreciate you. Choma.
Thank you so much.
Thank you as always.
Thank you.
All right. So this is just about the time we have for our show and our package today. I'd love to believe you enjoyed it just like we equally, did right here in our studios. But please do well to visit us for more on this at enterprisetvnews.com. You may also like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7. I am Henry Igwebike.
I am Choma Okohe.
Thank you for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye-bye.